2NURFM News. For our sponsor, Tile Warehouse Warners Bay, the large floor tile specialists.
It's 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Claudie Groves with 2NURFM Hunter News. A 3.1 magnitude earthquake has hit the Hunter overnight. The shock struck Cessnock at 9:55 and was felt up to 25 kilometres away. Geoscience Australia seismologist Eddie Leask says residents need to have an earthquake safety plan.
There hasn't been much history in the past weeks or months, but the Newcastle region is very seismically active, so we have had plenty of earthquakes throughout history. In the last 30 years, we've had over 80 earthquakes in the area.
The state government is today pushing ahead with the next stage of its plans to truncate Newcastle's heavy rail line, sparking fears of looming transport chaos. Hours of protest from the opposition also follow claims the government has yet to hire key managers to oversee the ambitious project. New South Wales opposition leader John Robertson says the Hunter community deserves some answers.
The best thing they can do is get in touch with the Minister for Transport's office and ask her what is going to happen. How will we commute? How will the Opal card integrate, or will it integrate at all? What will the frequency be of bus services? What will the routes be? Because without that information, the people of Newcastle are once more in the dark.
While believing there's no need to panic, independent candidate for Newcastle Karen Howard says the community does have a right to be informed.
I note that the opposition did pick up on my position last week of calling for the government to release the transport arrangements post-Boxing Day. We retain that call to government. People do need to know what is going to happen post-Boxing Day. It's not very long away. Christmas will be on us quite quickly.
The state government has hit back at opposition claims it's intimidating Newcastle and Lake Macquarie councils into a forced amalgamation. Swansea MP Gary Edwards insists Labor is just fear-mongering for a cheap vote, and the Liberals have encouraged local government areas to have their say, with submissions open until June 30 next year. Gary Edwards says the move is about increasing council competence, and there's a no-strings policy preventing forced amalgamations.
I just wouldn't put any credence in what Shadow Minister Costas had to say at all. It's all about efficiencies. It's not about adding extra costs. It's all about efficiency. State government's policy is no forced amalgamations. And if councils do choose to amalgamate, there are very handsome rewards, hundreds of millions of dollars to assist them in that process.
The Hunter's mining industry is one of several to go under the microscope today at a state government roundtable. It comes off the back of a submission to the Premier's panel of experts on political donations, with the Lock the Gate Alliance likening the influence of the industry to that of property developers and tobacco industries. New South Wales coordinator for the alliance, Georgina Woods, says it's imperative this damage be prevented before October elections.
We think it's unhealthy for the mining industry to have such an intimate relationship with politics in New South Wales. And the result of it is that communities get left behind, water gets damaged, landscapes get trashed. We think that it's important for the mining industry to be kept at arm's length from politics, and the first step for that is to prevent those companies from being able to make political donations.
And the City of Newcastle has been shortlisted for Resources for Regions funding. If successful, $12 million will be injected into Council's Bathers Way expansion project along Shortland Esplanade. Acting Lord Mayor Brad Luke says some of the funding would also go towards remediation of the South Newcastle seawall.
Effectively, they've agreed with the concept of what we've put up. What we now need to do is just put together a good detailed plan that actually shows why they should be funding this project. When this pathway is finished, it will be, I believe, the best coastal walk in Australia.
In finance, the All Ords is down 44 points at 53.71, and $1 Australian dollar is buying 88.61 US cents. Now with sport, Tandi Chindove.
NRL officials insist they won't be making any hard and fast decisions about the sale of the Newcastle Knights, with the handover unlikely for at least another year. It comes despite mounting pressure from English billionaire Marwan Kokash to purchase the franchise, following reports he's planning to fly to Australia next month to finalise the acquisition of a club. The NRL is expected to settle on a 7-person board of directors to represent the red and blue by the end of October. Meanwhile, outgoing Knights halfback Michael Dobson will be sweating on the results of a fitness test later this week, set to determine his chances of playing in Sunday's New South Wales Cup Grand Final against Penrith. He injured his toe last weekend after playing a key role in the Knights' preliminary final victory over the Illawarra Cutters, while James Elias and Toka Likiliki have been added to the extended bench. And Northern New South Wales football has pulled the pin on the emerging Jets, banishing them from the Women's Premier League as of 2015, citing a lack of challenge. That's sport. I'm Tandi Shindoe.
2 NURFM news time is 1:05.